So I just recorded a video about this and I'm going to re-record this because after I finished, I had this like energy that felt off and I wanted to make sure that the information I brought through was clear and accurate and not misleading. So I am actually going to be talking about something that's a little weird. Not that I don't normally talk about stuff like that, but in this particular instance, I'm going to talk about the missing scientist. As you might know, or maybe you don't know, there are many missing scientists. So this is going to be possibly a little bit of a scripted video, but I want to bring to you a channel message I received last week. I actually went into a meditative state and asked the Wisdom Keepers to team my channel, which if you want to connect with the Wisdom Keepers, every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, I channel live here on YouTube and on TikTok. You're welcome to watch. If you want to ask a question, there is an opportunity on my website to ask a question. All you have to do is go over to my website, and there is a link that you can purchase a question or come join the Ascension membership and come to all of them and engage at any point. You can ask as many questions as you want when you're in Ascension membership. So last week I tuned in and I asked, what is going on with all the scientists that are missing? Now, this is going to be a super out there idea, and I'm not sure that I have fully wrapped my mind around this or that I completely agree with everything. That being said, I do trust the wisdom keepers and the information they give me. I am just interpreting it through my human um, processing brain. So, as I tune a little bit more into this channel message, I also get the fact that they could be describing different dimensional beings supporting humanity, and that the scientists that have access to information that the public doesn't yet might be a part of engaging with some of this. So I'm not going to say for sure that um, what I'm about to say is 100% true. This is just what they've showed me a little bit of, and what some of them, because it's interesting that some of them they say have hurt themselves and no longer alive. Some of them they say are just missing, and then other ones have been murdered. And when I asked the Wisdom Keepers what's going on with this, they basically said to me, not all of these scientists have left the earth the way that you think they have. And they have shown me that it's almost like they're showing me a particular part of the world that these scientists have been taken to do like work on something. And I don't know what that is. It feels like a remote place, and it feels like either they're working with or alongside extraterrestrials, or they're working in a space where there's like information that they cannot share. That I'm just gonna say that's what I'm kind of picking up on. So this is the channel message. I'm gonna go ahead and just read the whole thing to you. Then I will come back around and share my thoughts about what they said. So they said, as far as some of the scientists that you were asking about three of these that are missing have fully transitioned back into their spirit. So they actually are no longer alive. The others who have been reported missing, murdered, or who have taken their lives have not actually their lives have not ended in the way that has been presented. They have transcended, but they have moved into either a different timeline, a different frequency, or even a different dimension. And in that dimension, from that space, they are working with the energetic field of that timeline to support ascension. They are relaying information back and forth between that timeline and this one, assisting humanity during this pivotal point. So you could call them volunteers. Humanity is beginning to reach a level of technological ability similar to what existed during the time of Atlantis. For this ascension to succeed, what is being developed must be used in a positive and supported way, one that brings humanity into unity rather than continuing separation and conflict. Fear is acting as a portal right now. Through it, other forms of information are entering. You have already been shown glimpses of this through entertainment and movies that explore timeline shifts and parallel realities. An example of this would be Star Wars, is that has been brought forward to the public. These films carry pieces of truth, ways of being from other timelines or frequencies that could communicate information to the collective. However, they are labeled as entertainment by those who prefer to keep humanity unaware. Over time, there has been more interaction with beings assisting humanity. Some come openly, but many work in subtle or hidden ways. They often move within systems to control. They often move through systems of control, appearing as part of them, while quietly helping humanity to ascend. There is a kind of mission unfolding on Earth. The energetics of this can be shielded by high frequency beings, so it is not easily to detect by those who are not aligned with it. I'm going to read that part again. There's a kind of mission unfolding on Earth. The energetics of this, the higher frequency, can be shielded by high frequency beings, so it is not easily detected by those not aligned with it. This is also why some of the scientists who have shifted or have moved into a higher frequency in order to access certain knowledge. From lower state frequencies, where control, greed, and fear are held, it is not possible to access the higher frequency understanding. To reach that level, one must move into a state so fully into an expanded awareness and love that they leave behind the lower frequencies and the control. However, those who wish to maintain control cannot access that level without losing their desire to control. So they remain in a lower frequency pattern where others are not seen as equal or valuable in order to maintain their position of control. Those who have moved into higher frequencies are not only some of the scientists, there are also many who have transcended into states of this awareness. Some are connected with extraterrestrial or multidimensional aspects of existence. Others are what you might know as guides, angels, or ancestors. All of these beings are supporting humanity. Everything is working together. This ascension process is a part of a greater design. Source supporting itself back to itself. Ascension is remembering. It is returning to who you truly are. As you move forward, this is the affirmation being offered to you. We love you deeply. We will continue to share with you more openly when you are ready to receive. And as you allow this portal to continue to open, information will begin to flow more easily, more quickly through the collective visions, dreams, and inner knowing. Okay, so let's dissect this craziness. The one part that stuck out to me that I thought was really, really interesting, where they said to maintain control, you cannot access a higher frequency level. So the ego state, such as control, greed, and fear, that is being used by those in the we'll just say government or the hierarchy of this planet, those who are attempting to keep the frequency low to maintain control have to work in the energy of fear, control, and greed. That is a low density frequency. Once you shift into a higher frequency, once you move into a 5D frequency or even a 4D frequency, beyond the human ego or the third dimensional desires, you have to release those things that keep you in that state. So, in order to maintain control, they must remain at the level that they're at to keep the desire of control. Because as you ascend, if you've been on your ascension journey, you have realized that you stop caring about what people think. You stop caring about controlling things. You release anxiety. You release greed. You release competition. You stop thinking in a third dimensional fear or control or anxiety or an attempt to manage your world. And you open yourself to a trusting frequency, a flowing frequency, a frequency that is in unity with other humans or beyond the energetic world, even within your spirit guides and the non physical with nature. When you move into a higher frequency, you have to let go of the lower thoughts, which are the greed and control. So, what they're saying is these beings, these people, that some are beings, what we will maybe just describe as reptilian beings, they have to stay in the state that they are in to maintain that control. But they know that the collective energy is rising and they're kind of freaking out a little bit because they can't control high frequency without becoming that frequency. But if they become that frequency, they no longer want to control. Are you following me? Leave a comment below. Let me know because I'll see if I can explain this better. But they will lose control if they ascend as well. Because ascension is unity consciousness. They can't move into unity consciousness and maintain power. Does this make sense? So as this is happening, there are beings already working in the higher frequency. And what they're saying is some of these scientists are working with these beings. And this might be why they are no longer around or they have disappeared. I'm not saying all of them, but they're showing me a few of them are working with higher extraterrestrial or intelligence of some type to help the ascension continue to move forward, which is alarming for those in power because if they can't access this, then they can't maintain control. So they're going to use a false narrative to try to make sense of what is happening with this in order to maintain order and control over the system. But they showed me as they were giving me this channeled message the other day that and this is the part that was interesting, and let me scroll back up to the beginning here, where they said humanity is reaching a level of technological ability similar to the existence during the time of Atlantis. If you know anything about the age of Atlantis, the time of Atlantis, when Atlantis, Lemuria, all these beings, the high frequency beings, like they had achieved a very high frequency. They could not continue to ascend and hold on to the ego. And what they did was they ended up collapsing on themselves, having destruction and causing harm to the earth and to beings and to people on earth or to themselves, really. And so what they have said in this current ascension, we're getting to the point where we are growing to the point where we're reaching the state that Atlantis was able to reach. We don't physically see that in our world, but if we were to have the knowledge of what really the advanced technology has come into, like we see AI, we see all this stuff going on. Half the things that are going on in the world with technology and advanced knowing hasn't been released to the public. They're still maintaining control over this so they can have the control. If they're about 10 steps ahead of the public, they can repress and they can control the information that comes out. So they're years ahead of what the public, the collective has in their hands or is able to access. But eventually, this is all going to catch up. So, what they're saying is that some of these scientists have knowledge of this advanced technology and they're relaying it and away from the fifth dimension to our frequency to help the ascension to keep it on track without being used for the negative things that they have once used it for in the age of Atlantis. So this is why they say for this ascension to succeed, what is being developed must be used in a positive, supportive way. And that brings humanity into unity rather than continuing separation and conflict. And then I thought it was interesting. They said fear is acting as a portal. So fear has been created on Earth for a few reasons. Now, nothing on Earth that we are experiencing hasn't been allowed, like, it's all been allowed by Source. God, if you want to call it God, has allowed these things to happen. At any point, God could pull back his energy, but it doesn't do that because it's experiencing itself. So in this, it goes through the process of teaching itself, reminding itself, giving itself experiences, knowing that this experience is not a eternal experience. This is a temporary experience. So there's not really any need to fight against the fear when you know the fear is a temporary experience that has been given to the humans to have a third dimensional life or physical reality. But because of the continued use of fear and control in this dimension, it is cycled so much that it has caused portals where the portals of energy continue to suck us back into a karmic cycle. And so what we're doing is we're working to release karmic cycles of fear or low density thoughts and behaviors so we can ascend. So through the forms that the energy coming through the portals of fear, this is how they've been able to control the mind of humans. And they've used things such as entertainment to do so. Movies, music, um, information about who we are physically, the medical system. Like there are all kinds of things, not saying that everything is negative, because there's a positive aspect about these things too. It's just like they were saying in the Age of Atlantis, these are positive things. We just have to learn to use them for a positive reason. And as we learn to use them for a positive unity and a higher consciousness, the fear leaves. You can't have that density in a higher frequency. And that's why, in order to maintain control, they can't move into the frequency of love. They can't move into the frequency of unity. They have to stay in the frequency of fear and control and greed and anger and hate and war, all that. So the more they can project into the world fear through behaviors, actions, taking control away, starting wars, creating conflict, creating division, whatever that might be, the more they're able to control the system. But because we're moving into a higher frequency, the beings that are supporting humanity are finding ways to kind of go undercover a little bit to help humanity to ascend so that we can all come back into a unity consciousness because they want us to succeed this time. And I do believe that we will. Um, but there's info if you pay attention to a lot of the entertainment that's been coming out recently. I don't watch a lot of TV, but once in a while something comes into my awareness, like a friend will say something or I'll watch something and I'll be like, this is interesting. So I know that the movie Disclosure Day is going to be coming out soon, and I think that's really interesting timing about how that's coming out. So they're going to start to twist and project so much fear around disclosure that it's going to cause so much internal conflict for the collective. Those who are not ready, that are still like in a religious mindset or in a fearful mindset or the third dimensional thinking, are going to look at it through the lens of fear because the fear is the portal they see through. Those who have transcended and moved into a higher frequency where they've left behind some of this fear, they will see this as a positive. So it's going to be dependent on your energetic system, your belief system kind of thing, how you engage with this new information. So that coming out, and then I'm thinking specifically about the movie Stranger Things. And I did not watch the entire series. My spirit team was like, this is too dark for you. Don't watch this anymore. But I did make it pretty far into it and I was intrigued because I see that show as portraying reality in many different ways of what is really happening here on Earth, just in an entertainment way to maintain control. Let's make this entertainment so that they don't look too much into it. And then when we act it out in real life, it's going to be a conspiracy. It's going to be like all these things. We can maintain control if we use these systems to maintain control over the mind of a human. So if I can get you to engage with it, something entertaining, and get you convinced that it's not real, and then you see or you hear something and you're like, well, that was from a movie, then you're less likely to engage with it, which will then pull you into a new frequency when you start to wake up and see things beyond the human logic. So I thought this was a really interesting message. I'm still dissecting it. I'm not sure I know I'm able to comprehend it. Like I said, this is all through the filter of my human mind. And in a week or a month, I could get a completely different message that comes through. But for now, this is what they're giving me. Until they help me to process this differently, this is what I have for you at this point. And I guess I want to share this also just to give you a little bit of hope that we are moving towards our ascension. It may not look like it physically, outwardly right now, but pay attention inwardly. I know that for me, I'm having a lot more interaction with the non-physical realm. I'm having a lot more dreams. They're very, very, very vivid dreams. They're like real. I feel like I'm visiting other timelines. Like I'm having really weird dreams and experiences. I'm even having time during the day where I'm feeling like more energetic waves where I get a little dizzy once in a while, or my desires are changing, or what I engage with changes. Like I haven't wanted to even like listen to music or watch TV. I've been reading more. Um, so there's gonna be changes and shifts how we engage with this world, and this is all just a part of our ascension. So hang in there. If I get any more message about this, I will let you know. Again, come hang out with us Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, and maybe the Wisdom Keepers will give us more information about this. If you have questions, go ahead and send them in through my website. If you're on this already in the Ascension membership, you can ask them about this if you see this video. So we'll see what they say. But until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.